So SDCC just happened last weekend, and I want to make a video talking about everything that interested me. I know it's a little late because this happened on the weekend. All the big reveals are out there. You probably already know, but it's a really exciting time, and I really wanted to talk about some of these figures. But before we dive right into the SDCC reveals, there have been a couple reveals from Takara, just today actually. So starting off, we're getting a Predaking repaint from the Adamus Machina series. And this Predaking is in like police colors. It's kind of insane, and I don't know what this is supposed to be referencing or if this is supposed to be all new. I really don't know. To me, it kind of reminds me of a Power Rangers Zord or something. It looks pretty cool, and it just came out of nowhere. But I guess they have to get their money for the uses of that mold somehow. And then also at an event, we had in-hand pictures of the brand new Beast Wars 2nd Galvatron. I've been very vocal that I'm really, really excited about this figure. And the in-hand photos just look amazing. Again, everything this figure is doing is perfect for me, and I can't wait to get my hands on him. And then there was also an event in China, and it had some incredible Transformers displays. They had displays with every single Studio Series 86 character, a great display of the Ark, the Decepticons, and then the 13 Primes with Star Convoy right in the middle. These are some of the coolest displays I've ever seen, and if I ever win the lottery, I would want these in my house. But on to SDCC. We knew it was going to be an interesting time. The Transformers team always does some really, really cool reveals. We have some stuff that's already up for pre-order from the event. A lot of stuff is going to be for later in the year. It was mostly the next Studio Series wave and the next, or I should say, the final Age of the Primes wave. So starting off, we got a lot of information on the Monster Jam leaks. We knew that there was going to be a Transformers Monster Jam collab. We knew we were getting a bunch of stuff. No one really knew what it was going to be like. Turns out we're only getting one, I guess you could say, generation-styled figure, which is Gravedigger Grimm, which is actually kind of a cool-looking Transformer. I've said before, these collabs don't really do anything for me. They don't, so it's an easy pass. But if you're into Monster Jam, it's pretty cool. And I'm sure kids are going to love this. Because on top of this, they're also doing two more simple kind of one-step changers, which, again, like perfect for kids. Kids who love robots, Transformers, monster trucks. This could be right up their alley. And even for like young kids, they're doing just monster trucks that don't transform. So there's Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Starscream, and I think the other one's supposed to be Megatron. So it's good for kids. And if you like Monster Jam, it's a good collab. Next up, we finally have confirmation of the Beast Wars Maximo pack. This leaked a long time ago, and we got the Predacon pack just earlier this year. And I love that pack. I didn't have any of the Beast Wars Versus or Beast Wars Again figures. So for me, the Predacon pack was perfect because I don't have any Kingdom Beast Wars figures, or like I said, the Takara ones. And these are just all of the Takara Beast Wars Versus figures in one box. So it makes it really easy to get everybody all in one. And again, I'm totally going to get this. I loved Beast Wars. I was skeptical about Beast Wars for the longest time. Then I watched it like 2 years ago and I fell in love. So one of the best Transformers series if you haven't watched it. And I'm so happy we're getting these Takara decos one more time. After that, we had the Transformers Icons Megatron, who looks good. He looks like the Optimus Prime Autobot symbol. We knew this was coming. It makes me wonder what they're going to do next. They could do like the Unicron symbol that turns into a Unicron, or what other factions are going to do. Maybe Predacons and Maximals. That would be kind of cool. We're just going to have to wait and see. Then we had confirmation of the Walmart exclusive subline for this summer, which is going to be the Energon infused figures or whatever they're calling them. So there's Cybertronic and Cybertread at the deluxe price point, who I think I might get just because they look fun. And then at the Voyager price point, there's a Megatron and Optimus Prime. These are actually starting to be found at Walmarts across Canada, and I expect them to shelf warm. I don't know about America, maybe America's different, but in Canada, every Walmart exclusive capsule just sits on shelves at Walmart for months and months and months and months and months. So I'm not going to pre-order these. I might even wait till these go on sale, because all this Walmart stuff, it usually goes on sale. Unless it's like Cosmos. The only one that didn't was Velocitron Cosmos. Next up, we finally had an update on the activate your alt mode fan vote shock whale. This thing is cool. When this vote was going on, I was interested in it. And it's cool reimagining Shockwave as a whale. I didn't know this was going to be a leader price point. That's going to be really expensive. And this isn't my thing. I think Transformers does need like more unique things, more interesting things. I think the brand kind of desperately needs a refresh like we had with Beast Wars, like the brand had with the live action movies. Something to really create excitement around the brand, because obviously I don't know. I'm just going off of the top of my head here. But I don't think kids are really big into Transformers right now. I think their main market is collectors, which is kind of sad. And then if you also think long term, it's not sustainable. And I think they do need to get a new generation of fans into Transformers. I know that's getting hard with kids not wanting toys anymore, but I think this is a topic for another day. I'm kind of getting off topic here. But it is cool. It's fresh. It's new. I like that. And I would like to see more stuff like this in Transformers, even if it's not necessarily for me. And then we had a look at our second Energon Universe figure. Now, the weird thing to me is that they're doing these Energon Universe figures as Pulse exclusives. They did the Optimus Prime, which they revealed the Energon Universe Optimus Prime so long ago. And I think it doesn't come out until like the end of 2026, even though it's just a retool of the Commander class Optimus Prime. That's way overpriced. So I'm also afraid that this new Shredhead is going to be like way more than just a Voyager class figure. So I'm afraid to see the price. If it's more than a retail Voyager, I might pass, because I'm not totally caught up on the Skybound comics. I read them by volume, and I think I just finished... I'm not even sure. I finished the most recent volume, whatever that is. And Shredhead shows up in it. He doesn't do that much so far. He's an interesting character. Definitely not my favorite. I think his design is kind of cool. The comics, it seemed like his design was based off of the Legacy Skids mold, specifically the Legacy Cannonball mold, because he had those doors on his shoulders. So that's why I'm kind of shocked he's getting his own unique mold. I'm also scared of how much this is going to cost, because if you look at his van mode, he's got a lot of paint work. And it looks amazing. It looks like straight out of the comic book. But that's a lot of paint for a figure. And that's why I'm afraid this is going to be closer to leader price. And I really, really hope I'm wrong. But it looks cool. It looks good. I hope it's not too expensive. The final wave of Age of the Primes. Now, we knew Age of the Primes was ending. It was supposed to end 2026. So the wave that's starting to show up now with Unicron, Soldier, Point Blank, and Swindle, that wave that's starting to show up right now was supposed to be the end of the wave, but they got a wave extension, so now Age of the Primes is going to go into the first wave of 2027, which, if you've been collecting long enough, that means people are probably going to start finding it in December. And a lot like the current wave of Age of the Primes, it's just repaints, recolors. Starting off with G2 Wild Rider, Mark confirmed that they are completing the G2 Stunticons. I think too little too late. Like, Takara did the New Legends multi-pack with all of the Stunticons. I think just get that. I think the decos look better for pretty much all of the Stunticons. And I think this is just Hasbro desperately trying to complete teams, because they said that they were going to complete teams at the start. So it's good that they're doing it. I think a lot of people are over it. I think it's too late. The first G2 Stunticon came out in Velocitron Wave 2. That was impossible to find. And just, they are here and there since then. So I think at this point they have to re-release the G2 drag strip and probably the G2 Dead End too, because it's been so long since those figures came out. And there's still no sign of a repaint of Motormaster, because it seems like the Hasbro team really doesn't like doing redecos of Commander class figures, which is unfortunate, because the only one that comes to mind is Siege Jetfire has had 2 repaints. Other than that, it really feels like Hasbro's afraid to repaint Commander class figures, and that really sucks. Then we're also getting Alpha Bravo, which I think is kind of fun. Like, it's just a Vortex repaint, which is exactly what he was in Combiner Wars. He was actually a pre-paint of Vortex. New word in the fandom, I'm going to coin it. So it's cool. I like the color scheme. I might get this just for fun, just for Combiner Wars nostalgia, because I loved Combiner Wars when it came out. And then we get on to the ever so controversial Nexus Prime limbs. And I just made a video about Nexus Prime. It got more attention than I thought. So Nexus Prime is clearly a big talking point in the fandom still to this day. And looking at these two, I really don't know how to feel. They look cheap to me. Like in person, the bright red, the blue with like the yellowy gold, they look cheap to me. I don't like the color scheme. I know it goes with Nexus Prime, but at least Nexus Prime had his color scheme was like a little bit more broken up. These guys I just really don't like. And then the designers have said, they stated that there's no plans to do a frame of Nexus Prime. They said that they were going to think about it after SDCC with all the fan feedback. And from everything I've seen online, people are upset. People are pissed off. They want a proper Nexus Prime frame with 4 proper Nexus Prime limbs. Now, we knew these were going to be repaints, obviously, but these just feel lazy. Like, why is one a blast off repaint? I know this isn't a true to form like TFCC Nexus Prime, which is what the original one was. That had that one had 2 jets, a tank, and a helicopter, and then Heatwave formed the main torso. With this one, you have Nexus Prime as your main torso, but then you need to use Superion's frame, or you could even use Bruticus's frame. And then you have the space shuttle guy and the jet guy. Sorry, I don't know their names off the top of my head. They're obviously supposed to be the TFCC limbs, the 2 jet limbs. Again, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the names. One is kind of accurate. Like the robot modes aren't accurate at all. That's okay. The other one has an entirely new head. I think it's kind of cool, and it's got the Nexus Prime insignia. So again, I think that's kind of cool. I just don't know why they chose the space shuttle. And then the other one has a toy aerial bot head. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on my names tonight. I really am. But the aerial bot that he's based off of, it's a toy accurate head. So that tells me more than anything that the G2 aerial bots are coming. And if you know what the G2 aerial bots look like, you'll know that a G2 Superion would go so well with the Nexus Prime torso. So if you have the G2 Superion frame with Nexus Prime, and then these guys as limbs, that would look really good. The colors would probably look really unison. But it's most likely that if they do G2 aerial bots, they're going to release them as a multi-pack. I'm thinking similar to what they did with the toy accurate decos of the Stunticons. So I don't think you're going to be able to just buy G2 Silverbolt on his own. I think you're going to have to buy a 5-pack with G2 aerial bots, and then that's a whole thing to get into. So again, that's just me speculating. This could mean this new head on this aerial bot could mean we're getting G2 aerial bots, or it could mean we're getting toy deco aerial bots, or it could mean we're getting both. Really don't know. But this head is definitely going to be used, and it was definitely planned to be used again for the aerial bots. The other one is entirely brand new, definitely meant for Nexus Prime. So since that was in the tooling for Blastoff, it makes me think maybe this was their idea for Nexus Prime all along, but people clearly don't want it. And the fact that they have no plans for a frame is upsetting. I don't want to have to take apart my Superion. I don't want to have to take apart my Bruticus. So hopefully they figure something out. We don't even know what the other 2 limbs are going to look like if we get them. My theory is still that they were going to release these 2 limbs, Alpha Bravo and Guzzle, as the Nexus Prime limbs, intended as the Nexus Prime limbs, even though only 2 would be Nexus Prime colored. Again, we don't have confirmation. I hope I'm wrong, but the Nexus Prime thing just continues to be an issue, and I think I should make another video talking about it. And then that's it. That's all we have for Age of the Primes. We don't have any Leader class figures. We don't have any Voyager class figures. We know that we're getting Guzzle and Cyber Shark in the Voyager class price point. And Leader class, we know we're getting a new Prime, and I don't remember the other Leader class listing. And then on to Studio Series. What's not cool is the Alicon. To me, it looks like a 1-to-1 packaging refresh of the Earthrise Alicon. I can't see any deco changes whatsoever. I think this it's a really boring release, but also kind of necessary. In my area, when the Earthrise Alicon came out, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I don't have one. I might pick this up just for fun. Then we go on to Shockwave. from Transformers 1. He looks really good. Robot mode looks super accurate. Heavy Fall of Cybertron Deluxe Shockwave nostalgia from the alt mode for me. This one's a pass. I've said before, I'm not crazy about the Transformers 1 designs, but it looks cool. And if you're looking to complete that cast, this is what you've been waiting for. The biggest shock to me out of all of these SDCC reveals was the brand new mold for Red Alert. I did not see this coming at all. I knew that there was a listing for Red Alert. I just had no idea that it was going to be a new mold. And this just blew me away. I think this looks perfect. I thought the Siege Sideswipe mold looked good, and then they redid it for Kingdom. I thought that looked even better. This looks so good. The robot mode looks great. The alt mode looks perfect. We finally get that Lamborghini Countach with a spoiler, even though I don't think they have the rights to make it like an actual Countach. But we finally get the spoiler. It looks perfect. He even comes with his like rocket launcher, his gun. What has me interested is they're definitely going to repaint this probably a million times. There's Sideswipe, there's Tiger Tracks, there's Deep Cover, there's Clamp Down. There's so many repaints out of this mold. I wonder if they're going to tweak it to make one look cartoon accurate and one look toy accurate. The reason being is that Sideswipe's G1 model doesn't have the sides of the doors hanging off of his arms, and it doesn't have the wheels on his shoulders. So it makes me wonder if when they do Sideswipe, are they going to retool this mold to kind of hide that? Or are they just going to keep it and say this is the toy version of G1 Sideswipe? So I really just am curious if they're going to differentiate it at all when they do a Sideswipe to make him look more cartoon accurate. Because if they're doing a Studio Series 86 Sideswipe, the wheels on the shoulders aren't accurate. Just recently, with the Age of the Prime's tailgate, they actually did some differences to tailgate and Windcharger. So tailgate has his wheels on his shoulders or like on his arms that can't rotate backwards like they do on Windcharger. So hopefully they work some magic when the eventual Sideswipe redeco comes. But as far as Red Alert goes, I think this is awesome. And I can't wait to see who they repaint it into. Then we're getting an 86 wheelie. I think Evan confirmed a while ago that they were going to repaint the retro wheelie into the 86 wheelie. My problem with this is that it's too large. When you put this next to 86 Bumblebee, he towers over him, and I think wheelie should be smaller than Bumblebee or at least as tall as Bumblebee. I think this is too big. I think the core class figure works a lot better. Yes, this figure looks better, and it's definitely a better looking wheelie. But if you want them to look kind of in scale, I think the core is the way to go. So I think I'm going to pass on this and keep my core class. But for the second wave of 2027, we're getting a deluxe Nautica, which I saw some people say that she looks too bulky for Nautica. I didn't read the IDW comics, but I'm really interested in her character and her figure. I think she looks really cool. I like the purple. It's different. She might look a little bulky compared to what the comics look like, but I think it looks really good. And I think, again, Transformers needs something new in it, and then bringing these IDW designs to toy form again, which is something we haven't seen since like Combiner Wars with like the Ultra Magnus. And I think this is a good thing, and I can't wait to see who they do next from IDW and Studio Series. And then on to the leader classes. We're getting a packaging refresh of Swoop. It seems like they're doing packaging refreshes of all the Dinobots, which is good. If you missed one, this is your chance because they are a really good set. They're really good figures. Then the big surprise for me was Transformers 5 Megatron. I knew we were going to get him. I didn't know we were going to get him this soon, and he looks so good. I have the leader class from 2017. I love that figure. I know a lot of people preferred the Voyager. I just like the leader class because it was so big. And this thing looks amazing. He's got his cannon and his sword. He even comes with a shield. The robot mode looks so accurate and way more accurate than the 2017 leader. The jet mode looks great. And even as a bonus, they threw in his dragon mode, which is based on his concept art. So the original idea was to have Megatron turn into a dragon, not a jet. Somewhere along the way, they changed that and made him turn into a Cybertronian jet. So the dragon mode isn't the best. Like, it doesn't look super amazing, but I think it's just a bonus. The designers threw it in there. They're like, hey, you can have fun. You can kind of make this look like a dragon. I'm not complaining. I think it's cool that it can do it. I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy. And then ending with the biggest reveal we got, Titan class Scorn was confirmed. Now, I did think that Strafe was going to be the next Titan class Dinobot that we got, just because we're getting the Transformers 4 Bumblebee this year. But Scorn makes sense. He's like the second biggest, or if not, he's like just as big as Grimlock. It makes sense to do the bigger ones first, and then as they lose budget, do the smaller ones. And his Dino mode looks so good. The Spinosaurus looks so great. The robot mode, his waist looks a little thin, maybe like by his torso. But other than that, like he looks really good. I'm curious to know how much he reuses from Grimlock, if any, if he reuses any engineering from Grimlock. But he looks great. I loved the Deluxe Scorn. I really loved the Voyager class Scorn. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the deco. I know that they're going for the screen accurate deco, but just in these renders, the gray and the copper looks kind of weird. Hopefully the final version improves that and makes it look a little bit cleaner, but I'm happy with it. I think it looks great, and I really can't wait till like 2029 when they finish this set of Dinobots, and we can have a Grimlock, a Scorn, a Strafe, a Slug all together. I think they're going to look fantastic, and I really hope none of them get canceled. If they cancel the other two now, I'm going to be so heartbroken. But they also showed a picture of the Studio Series TLK crosshairs next to Scorn. And the interesting thing was that the designers mentioned they're working on a new crosshairs to go with this Scorn, which has me confused, because if you have the Studio Series The Last Night crosshairs, it's an amazing figure. It's one of the more modern Studio Series figures, and it's really good. So the only difference I can think of is that they just retool this crosshairs into the Transformers 4 crosshairs. And the only real difference between them is the alt mode. In The Last Night, Crosshairs has a different spoiler, and I think the deco on his car is a little bit different. And then with the Age of Extinction version, he has a more traditional spoiler. And again, I think the deco is just a little bit different. But I hope that's all they mean, because like the figure is great. We don't need a brand new one. In addition to all this, we're getting a dead Robo-Sen Optimus Prime, which who can even afford the Robo-Sens to begin with, let alone a gray dead repaint of Optimus Prime. And then they're rescreening the G186 movie with a new bonus scene of dead Optimus Prime floating in space. So it kind of seems like they did this just to try and sell more Robo-Sen, which is already so expensive. So it's just random. It's weird. I don't think it makes sense. And then from the designers, we have some more information, like more Energon figures coming next year. They're going to appear in Generations. We have a listing for a Leader Class Scorponok. We also know that we're going to be getting an Energon Tidal Wave in Gen Selects. So those are two that we know about. I'm sure there's even more coming. And then going over Studio Series, they're changing Studio Series to cover a lot more. So there's going to be G1 characters that don't appear in the G1 movie, like a lot of 84 characters, and they're still going to continue doing Bayverse characters. And they said that they're not doing every single G1 character in Studio Series, but I would expect them to do a lot of them, because they love releasing better and better versions every single year. Like I said, the designers are still unsure about a frame for Nexus Prime. And again, that is probably the most disappointing news out of SDCC, is that there's not a Nexus Prime frame coming. The whole reason I bought Nexus Prime was because I thought a frame was going to come. So who knows what that's going to turn into. We also got confirmation on the HasLab. The HasLab is coming this year. They're not revealing it yet. I thought we'd know by now, honestly. But I guess we're going to know later in the year. They said start preparing your collection to get a whole lot bigger. So is it going to be Primus? My bet is still it's going to be Primus. We're just going to have to wait and see. They said 2027 is the start of rebooting Studio Series and Generations. Does that mean another budget cut? How do you reboot something that's already been the same for... I think by rebooting Studio Series, they mean incorporating like comic universe characters and TV universe characters into Studio Series. So I'm sure that's what they mean about that. I don't know how they're rebooting Generations, because Generations is Generations. It should always be all Transformers continuities. So who knows what that means? Maybe this just means more budget cuts are coming, and get ready for more price increases and worse quality and smaller sizes. They said Tetrajets aren't off the table. I kind of assumed that they were because they're doing everything with the new 86 mold. Maybe down the line they're going to make a new Tetrajet mold. Who knows? They confirmed more uses of Red Alert, and they're going to turn that into the new Seeker mold. So they're not shy about it this time. Again, IDW characters from all publishing runs. So this will be interesting. I think we're even getting Dreamwave characters next year. There's a Dreamwave Optimus Prime listing. And they've already starting to develop 2028's Dinobot, which I'm not sure who that's going to be because Strafe does have a huge wingspan. So he might even end up being bigger than Slug just because of his wingspan. So it could be either one. Really sounds like they're committed to finishing the set, even though Grimlock is just starting to come out. I don't know how well Grimlock's sold so far. Hopefully he sold pretty well. But yeah, we just got to wait and see what the HasLab has to offer. So what did you guys think of SDCC? What was your most exciting figure reveal, news coverage? What did you like the most? And did anything disappoint you? Are you with me on Nexus Prime that you're like, Hasbro, you guys kind of really dropped the ball on this? Or let me know in the comments below.